Hello and welcome to the stream of Chaos. My name is Dave and I'll be your game master for this session of Pendragon. Last week we finished the last adventure in the Game Master's Handbook, and so we are now beginning our playthrough of the scenarios contained within the Pendragon starter set. Each of these products are available over on Chaosium.com. All of our videos are on the Chaosium YouTube channel, and we stream live each week on the Chaosium Twitch channel. We have a little bit of, we have to do the winter phase first. So we're going to check in our knights, see how they develop over the interceding period, and then we will begin the new scenario in the new year. Go around the table and introduce each of our knights, stall briefly, so take a very inopportunely timed bite, and yet we will not adjust the order that we do it in because is the order that things must be done. Art, I'd like to introduce Sir Boris.
Hello, I'm Art, and I am a silly bean. I am playing Sir Boris Morrison. Not the finest swordsman in the land, but the most enthusiastic, big, bombastic, friendly, aiming for chivalrous. Boris is just a big man with a big heart and a lot of enthusiasm for life.
And just a fine chap. Yeah, fantastic.
He does his best.
Yeah.
He's not the smartest.
What more can we ask for?
But he does his best.
Doesn't stop you being a fine chap. All right. We'll go across to James with Samob.
Excellent. I am playing Samob, and I'm getting ready for hot Mob winter. This 488 is going to be the year of Mob. 487 sucked. It was awful. I got really sick. I got kidnapped by a fairy thing. Saved by a fairy.
We're in 509.
We're in 509?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we're in 509.
Why? I
was
did
my birthday. It was literally the year of Mob. 509 is going to be
No, 510. That was 509. 510 is going to be good.
The year of Mob is coming at some point.
The year of Mob has come and gone. It was missed. It was slept through. It sucked as well.
Dear. Anyway, it's still technically the winter of the bad year. The good year hasn't started yet.
Can't wait for it. Fantastic. And we'll go across to Alex.
Muted. Ha. Hi, I am Alex. I am playing Dame Triamos of Summerland, and I am doing my level best today not to get my Squire killed. Made it by this much, guys. It's proof that if you just keep turning up and doing your best, you only nearly die.
I'm not sure.
I hope that's reassuring.
I'm not sure it was. Yeah, that's right. Yourself and your Squire Pierce did survive and managed to make it to Duke Ulfius to request his audience. And hey, there's a little glory in that for you. It's all very good. Sounds like a win. Okay. So these are our knights. We are down Jackson and Sir Hervis this week and the following, but he'll be back with us afterwards. And speaking of this week and the following, this was a bad way to phrase it. We're here this week and the following, then we are away. We've got Chaosium Con, but we will be back the week after. And we'll have Jackson with us then too, so it'll be just a very fine thing. Okay, so we're going to do our winter phase first. So to kind of wrap a little bow around where we left the last adventure, you were able to successfully reach and convince Duke Ulfius to lend his aid in breaking the siege and rescuing your Lord Robert, who had sworn fealty to him. Two of our knights rode back with them, and Dame Triamore actually charged in the battle, and our other two knights who had been taken hostage were released under ransom already, and everyone was able to reconvene back at Duplain to see Duke Ulfius and Lord Robert sort of as he accepts the fealty. Duke Ulfius seemed to be a very successful wartime leader. He was also very generous with the spoils, because King Cerdic had sort of been traipsing around the region, having a bit of a pillage, and had taken a lot of sort of livestock, grain, just general supplies. and Duke Ulfius returned as much of it that was recovered to Lord Robert, which wasn't necessarily required of him. That was his by conquest, but it was given back to him, and Lord Robert in turn returned it to the peasants. But it was very apparent how significant the Saxons' presence had been, and over the coming months, as it gets towards the winter, you will see that even more as you sort of take in the surrounding area. This sort of relatively brief incursion has set things back significantly, and though you now have a alliance and one cemented in the bonds of fealty, if the Saxons sort of rally and coordinate as a cohesive force, this alliance will not be enough to hold them back. More still needs to be done, and that would be your expert opinions and that shared by others. Last thing that I also need to mention is when everyone returned, when Duke Ulfius accepted this fealty, there would have been a feast held, an event, and during it, Duke Ulfius, very impressed by Sir Moab and Dame Triamore, and also hearing of Sir Boris and Sir Hervis, and also slightly drunk, would have promised each of you a boon on the spot, which could have been called in immediately or otherwise pocketed. The examples given are if you just request cash, you would get £4, which is very significant. That's like a full, year's salary, and that can be set to, new horses or equipment or all manner of things. Or otherwise, you can kind of hold on to it. This is the, lord of your lord. So someone of pretty significant power. You might not be able to run into him every day, so calling it in will take a little bit of coordination, but it's pretty significant. We can kind of fold this into the winter phase. You can have either enacted it, or if you'd wish to, if you have an idea of how you might like to apply it, you can have done so over this period. So yeah, I guess just kind of have that in mind as we go through this, that's something that you could have called on.
Is there a mechanical thingy, mechanical? What's a boon, Dave? Other than money, what's a boon?
Good call. So a boon is basically an oath. It's a promise of service and favor. Yes, there is mechanical stuff on it. I do need to find it.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I remember it being, because it specifically says, it calls out the amount that can be turned into for just dollary dues. Otherwise, it could be done for something like a hand in marriage, or getting yourself set up with someone, or setting up someone else, things like that. You could also do it to get yourself positioned somewhere. It's probably not enough to get a full sort of parcel of land just yet, especially given you're not a direct knight of his either. But yeah, elements like that. Have a quick look. I can't remember which book it was in that I was reading about them. Here we go.
Since I can't think of how I can use mine to slight my father, I'll hold on to it.
Asked to have his stuff.
Asked to get a surgeon deployed and stationed at Duplain, a competent doctor.
Really what? Sliding his wife, but the bonds of marriage. His slides to hers and her slides to his.
Marriage, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, maybe there isn't actually a super specific a boon is an X. I know there was what I'm possibly getting this from, where my wires are getting crossed, is because Dame Triamore swore an oath and that had honor tied under it. This is kind of a similar thing. This was publicly done, so he certainly wouldn't wish to go back on it. Basically, it's he owes you a favor.
Yeah. My honor oath has one honor oath with a +1 geniality, so.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I can't find anything specific for it, so.
Yeah. Cool.
It's just the vibe of the thing. It's the benefit you make. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
All right, we'll nip across to the winter phase to check in on our knights. and see how they develop. Before we do, so I tallied up the glory that you guys earned from that last rush. You may have earned other points in the intervening period for, in Samob's case, getting lost in the woods and going mad.
Incredible, incredible work.
So, for the successful mission, those of you that I'll give you kind of like I'll give you your sum totals at the end. So those of you that engaged with knights in the flight, so it's everyone but Samob, gains 10 glory there. Then those of you that arrived got 20. Dame Tremor, you actually convinced Duke Olpheus, you got another 10, and then all of you were given 50 at the end of it for kind of being publicly acknowledged as aides. So that comes out to 60 for Art, 70 for Jim, and math, 70, 80, 90 for Alex.
Hell yeah.
As the most involved.
Glory!
Woo! It's the reason we do it. That's why we play the game. And I think this was how we were doing it last time, or how we realized last time. So glory is over the course of the session, like all the adventure that you do each year, you're tallying up the glory that you will earn in the winter phase. You do not have that glory yet. Because the idea is the word hasn't really gotten out yet. So for example, Samob going mad and wandering around the woods, that story hasn't, gotten out. But over the winter, the gossip's going and everyone's chatting about it. And it will begin to spread at that point. So yeah.
I got a total from that session of 105 glory. That's quite significant.
Hey, that seems pretty good.
Yeah, that's I think going to push me over the gap into my next glory-based increase.
That's right. Okay, well, we'll keep moving along and we'll see what it looks like. Okay. We're not going to do a solo scenario because we all did adventures, so we're going to go straight to the personal events point. So I'm going to have each of you roll a d20. We'll just go through it one at a time and run out the whole section of that stage. So Art, if you can roll a d20 for me.
You mean that one that I already rolled?
That'll do it.
His bad is 8.
8. This is just a table, so it's just seeing. So you've gotten the modest or proud one. So you need to roll against either modest or proud. Up to you which one you'd like to
modest,
go down.
thank you.
Okay. If you want to roll against modest, please.
I'm only slightly. I'm well, because it's a religious trait, I think. So it's.
Oh yeah, I think that is one of the.
Oh no, I
Christian...
failed it.
Oh no.
Okay, failure. Can you please now make a proud roll?
No. Also failed.
Okay. I believe. No outcome for that one, so it's come out in the wash.
Oh.
What would have happened if your proud had succeeded? You would have hired the services of a minstrel to spread your renown. So you have to pay money for it, but they go about sort of like telling your story and having a fine old time. But
it's very fun.
It comes out in the wash. Jim, if you want to go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
Okay, fantastic. Just before I do, may I heal?
Yeah, you'll be able to fully. You can.
Oh, thank
reset
God!
your
At last.
Wait, I think the whole point is wintering is just reset.
Yeah.
Unless you get
Big
ill and
sleep.
die.
Yeah.
Oh, modest proud. Shall I roll
Let's re-roll it. We've already done that one.
again? Yeah, let's do it. 10.
Spiritual. If you can roll against spiritual, please.
Oh,
I think you might have done
against my spiritual.
Wonder if you did this one last time.
Success for spiritual. I did, but I got the opposite interaction. Mo, it's just a spiritual guy this time.
So a chaplain cited your exemplary conduct as an example of piousness in one of their sermons. It doesn't actually have a glory attachment, but just, hey, shout out to the guy in the back row who really just got amongst it. Also kind of interesting because you're possibly attending it because you're like, I may have seen a fairy in the woods and I don't know how to...
Shall I tick my spiritual and potentially increase it as a result?
Yes, let me have a quick... in addition, apply experience checks as follows. Success, check the trait or passion. So yes.
Brilliant.
So I don't get to do that because I failed.
Yeah, if a failure, roll against the opposite and check that trait. Yeah, and the other one failed, so no. You just kind of came out in the wash. Alright, Dame Tremor, if you can please roll.
Bam, I'll change my name. Bonk.
Okay, yours is if you can roll against generous.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Where am I on that one? Middling on that one, that's fine. Fumbled.
Oh boy.
Oh no!
You squeeze the local peasants for £2
well.
and gain 1 point in station, as well as a check to the passion. Wow. So,
Okay.
Wait, that's if you fumble?
yeah, you are not generous. You get them. So you gain
Okay.
£2. Wow, you're really leading into your bad guy arc with your black
Yeah.
horse and racing
Wait,
around.
does that mean that you tick the opposing passion automatically? Is that how, like, is that
Fumble,
what that
if a
means?
trait,
Station,
check
this
the
is for
opposite.
station.
If a passion,
Yeah.
lose
Oh
1
my
point.
god! Didn't you already have like?
No, I was forgiving temperate. Like I took temperate in the last phase.
Not
But
this time.
well, yeah, that's completely different from temperate and indulgent. But apparently selfish, not generous.
Yeah.
I don't mean
yeah.
to like revert us back to stuff, but the feast that we had.
Mhm.
I know that the first little bit that I missed, there was a feast and there was something about geniality and like stuff like that. Is
Yeah.
that a thing that happened this time, or was that a specific event? Just because I have
Yep.
some
Yep.
some fancy
No,
stuff.
so feast as a whole, you can run a feast is a mechanic you can go through. We didn't run one for this one. It was kind of like just an offset. There will be opportunities to do future ones though, where that certainly will apply. This one was just like a one that happened.
Cool.
So
I
I'm
just wasn't sure
thinking-
whether it was like a hey, and now there's a feast and this is done,
Yeah,
or whether it's like so that makes sense. Yeah, cool.
Kind of.
So I'm ticking station. I'm ticking selfish, and there was something else I gained.
You
plus
gain
two
£2. Yeah.
Do you tick station or do you just gain a point in it?
Gain 1 point in station and a
Gain
check
1
to
point in
selfish.
station.
Wow.
No.
You
Also
really
not-
Oh my God,
you don't-
really
Yeah,
let
I'm
those
getting 1
peasants
point in
have it.
station. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great. Good. Love it.
But you don't need to check station because you
No.
just automatically get. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's dope.
another argument for taking stuff
love
from the
it.
poor. I'd love to do it. Okay, terrific. Well done.
Party.
All right, we now go into our experience rolls. So everything that's checked, go through and roll against it.
It's not a lot.
Squeezing
No.
the peasants.
If you roll above,
All right.
above it, you can increase it by 1.
I'm going to speak through mine just because I think it's
Yeah.
interesting to remind myself.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
checked my spiritual
Yep.
just then, which promptly succeeds, so it doesn't go up.
Mhm.
I checked my hate dad because I got mistreated by his wife, which goes up.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. They're really just the important skills. I also, I believe I fumbled that one. I ticked it because I fumbled it as well in the going mad section. Ticked courtesy, which will go up. First aid, which will go up. Battle,
Damn, dude.
which will not go up. Hunting from that ill-fated crit,
Mhm.
which goes up.
Okay.
And horsemanship,
Oh,
Which does not go up,
close
draft.
though. Yeah, cool.
very close.
Yeah, let's do
Hey, you
the
had
same
a-
for let's do
had
the
a
same
lot
for
of
the
ticks.
next.
Yeah.
I justify each one. I've got the receipts.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's crazy.
I fumbled a lot.
Check the records. Check the records.
You did fumble a lot.
Art, do you want to go through yours?
Sure.
Yeah.
So out of all of this, I ticked no traits. Out of my regular skills, I ticked none. Out of my combat skills, I ticked 2, which is horsemanship, which will not go up,
Close.
Damn.
and sword, which will go
There we go.
up.
We're getting
So my
better at
sword
swords.
got better. Good
Hell yeah.
times. And then what I did do was tick 4 passions.
Okay, there we go.
Sick.
So
Very good.
I have Hona Lord, which will not
Oof.
go up because it's already pretty goddamn
Yeah.
famous. I have a Loyalty Companions, which will not go up. I am as loyal as
All
I
the
need
good
to
rolls
be.
are happening now.
I have. Actually, I'm gonna do that one last. I have Hate Saxons, which I would be very surprised if this doesn't go up, which will go up by 1. And then the most important one to me, Chivalry.
Chivalry, go.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, dun.
Hey,
Yay.
Goes
nice.
up by 1.
8
I
chivalry.
am more chivalrous than I was before, but I actually can't remember how much I need to have. I think it might be 15. I think it's like quite high.
We're
Yeah.
working on it.
We'll get there.
It's
We'll
gonna
get
take
there.
a while. But also, didn't you say, Dave, chivalry's not a thing yet? Like,
Yeah, it has not been
You're a trailblazer.
not been codified yet.
hang on, where is the chivalry 15, station and hospitality 10, and I need to have where are you? There's a thing. It says it. 96 points spread amongst the following traits: energetic, generous, just, merciful, modest, and valorous. And last I checked, I had 76 points across all of those.
Okay.
So it's going to take a while.
It's moving.
But we'll get there.
Yeah,
We'll
that's
get
it.
there.
That's it.
It
Alright.
might take several winters.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could.
Am I rolling against selfish?
Yeah.
Given I just ticked it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
And with the passions, do they get ticked when you use one successfully, or are they also only crit or fumble?
Only crit or fumble if something significant happened. We had a
Cool.
couple of like, everyone can check that one because that would have applied. I think like people turning around
okay.
and going back to fight, I think maybe got like valorous or something at some point. I think we
Yeah.
said.
There was you could do, so the turning around to go back and help your companions was either tick valorous or companions.
Okay.
We all
Yeah,
got an
that's when I
option to
ticked
tick hate
valorous.
Saxons.
Which I
I
didn't.
got an option to tick chivalry for some reason. Oh, I can't remember why, but I know we spoke about it. And
Just
then
when you
the
turned to,
honor...
it's when you stayed with Sir Hector. I
Yeah,
think.
all good.
Alright.
Oh no,
sweet.
sorry, it wasn't honor. It wasn't
I
homage
got-
lord. It was honor. My bad.
Yeah.
I
Alex
got
Fishman's.
my sword. Which, yeah, that's not
Damn.
going up. It's too high already.
Yeah.
That would have been sick, though.
It would have.
I actually got battle for a change. Like, holy
Hey,
shit.
that's cool.
Hell yeah.
Which also meant.
Oh
Come
no.
on, really? Seriously? Real? Okay, sure. Play instrument.
Oh.
I
I feel like wait,
Tooting
you're great at
virus.
tooting. That's
What was
I'm
the,
just
what
checking
was the
if
name
crit
of this thing
goes
again?
up.
The calyx
We're
or
gonna
something?
say
Yeah, that could
criticals.
go either way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will also roll my
it
selfish. that I
says
just
greater. It says
Great.
greater.
Oh, great.
Your selfish does
I
go
love
up.
this for me.
Yeah, unfortunately criticals did not go up.
Damn.
But
And
it just
because my
reconfirms.
selfish is going up, that takes my generous down.
Yep. 11 and 9.
When
Right,
you
cool.
hit 20 in a if you hit 20 in a skill,
Mhm.
do you
Seriously?
count
Okay.
like a critical as
I'm so temperate, guys.
Yes, a value of 20 or above is a 20 to go up.
Yeah.
So
So
at that
you
point
just-
it
you
does
just have to
become the
crit.
crit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before
makes
then
sense.
it is specific that it's over.
Yeah, makes sense.
Damn, your
No,
valorous
no
is
more valorous,
high.
which fair. Yeah. I am min-maxed to shit, guys.
You
Because
do what you
if
do.
I wasn't, I could do nothing. I rolled so low on my character initially that if I didn't min-max the hell out of this, I would do literally no things well.
Yeah.
I think our highest increase from this little bout was that 14 would have been it, but wasn't. The 13 might be the highest one that went up.
Yeah.
I think
Yep,
so,
that 13
yeah.
is our highest
Well,
increase. So your temperate going up is the highest one that went over. Okay.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah.
I'm so temperate, guys.
So
I really wanted that battle,
So
though,
temperate and so
'cause,
selfish.
Yeah, that's an interesting combo, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. So
It makes me like a Scrooge. Like I'm a hoarder. Like I'm not indulgent, but I'm not giving it to you guys either.
Yeah.
Dave, I just wanted to, because I finally had a look at all of the lovely equipment that you put on our character sheet, and I wanted to thank you personally for calling all of the riding tackle and things like that just horse gear.
yeah,
Under it
that's
is just travel gear and then horse gear,
And
I
horse
love
stuff.
that.
I think that's straight
Boons
from the
and
book
stuff.
that's called horse gear. I think I drag and dropped it.
Okay, well then I rescind that and give my thanks to whoever wrote that passage in the book.
Oh man, I should have kept it. All right. So moving on to the next stage, it's the economic circumstances. So it's basically making sure that all your money is there and your standing of living. So no one is impoverished or poor because you are all held at ordinary because you are household knights. And this will cover your costs for the coming year. Worth noting that this year you will each gain an additional £1 given
Whoa.
to you by Lord Robert in great thanks for your service to him and sort of going, well, not above and beyond the call of duty, literally fulfilling the call of duty.
What was the holding that we were at when we did the mission.
Duplain?
Duplain, yes.
Thank you. Because it's very important to me that I record all of my glory and history and events, and one of them is defeat Sir Kindwolf in the duel for Sir Hervis's honor, and then this one, which is me leaning on all of the fantasy books that I've read, is just relief of Sir Robert at Duplain.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so good.
Very good.
Oh, actually, it should be Siege of Duplain, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So each of you earn an additional £1. So, you are held at Ordinary as household knights. If you wish, you can pay to increase, so to go up to being rich. That has some effects, like on things at feasts and whatnot. It's assumed you're like better dressed and better positioned and things like that. It would cost you £2 to increase. And that would basically cover you for the year, and then the next year you either need to continue to pay that tax or you will drop down. So Alex, for example, you really squeeze those peasants for money, which is particularly nice given they just all got raided and pillaged by Saxons.
Oh, they all had their stuff.
It is what it is, bro. Gotta pay your taxes.
Give me my stuff. If you wanted to, you could go up to being rich. Otherwise, you can remain at Ordinary.
I think it's funnier for me not to be.
Yeah.
Like, given that, and just with my traits, the fact that I am selfish, but also, like, not indulgent, I'm also temperate. It's kind of like...
Yeah, you
I'm
do
squeezing
the
the peasants,
opposite.
but
You
what the hell
drop
is she
down a
doing?
level
Like-
of wealth in order to just gain more money.
Exactly, like, I'm not... Yeah, I feel like it's a bit more... in line with the personality that has come out of the dice here, that I'm staying Ordinary.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That very much makes sense. I had a thought. It was dangerous.
Did it hurt?
I'm
Yeah, we don't
working
like
on
this.
it. I'm trying my
Well, I'll be
hardest.
I
staying
can
the same.
see the cogs moving behind the eyeballs, which means something's happening. Because trust me, when I have a thought, I don't. There's nothing happening. Head empty.
I'll be staying the same because I am both. I have a famous modesty and legendary temperance, so I don't think that it passes.
Team Temperate, high five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's remaining. Alright, I'm gonna put this thought on the back.
That's why
You want
You wanna be rich? Do you wanna be rich?
No, I have. Yeah, I have thoughts.
Yeah. Okay.
As I said, not much is happening. I have a thought, and then my brain goes, "What do you want to do with it?" Like, I don't. What is this?
Okay, so we go through aging now, so everyone just increase your number by 1. Congratulations, you're older. I don't think anyone is 35 or above and beginning
No.
decrepitude or whatever it's called. Senescence.
Excuse me? 35 and above?
Yeah,
I mean, okay, actually.
35 is the
Pardon?
slow slide into death.
To
And by
be
slow, I mean
fair,
rapid.
To be fair,
I can
the amount that my bones just hurt these days? Yeah.
There we go. So, see,
Am I the only one on
Riddle
this
me
stream
this.
who's 35 or above?
No.
roll your
No,
d6. It'd be so funny if actually at your next birthday, roll a d6 and see what happens.
and apply the results immediately. Like,
Wait,
wow.
do we need to do that now? Or is that
No.
If-
It's
oh,
only
okay.
once you get older.
Old bastards.
Actually, I really want to roll a d6 and be like, Dave, tell me what
Tell me
this
what
year
it-
will have
yeah,
for
what it
me
does.
personally.
Okay, so we do quickly come to the point that I was thinking about. So we're under Squire and Maiden in Waiting role. So for your Squires, each of them get a year older. And
yeah.
you
This is
can
old as fuck.
you can then check to see how their skills go up. We're gonna let's actually do Sir Boris and Sir Mob first, and then come back.
Yeah.
So each of you increase your Squire's age by 1, and then we'll check to see if the skill goes up. So you can then roll if there were less than sorry. So Boris, how old is your Squire?
Just turned 15.
Okay. So can you roll a d20?
Sure.
Wait, sorry. What is the skill level? What is your Squire skill?
So this is a slightly confusing because of the modifiers, and I don't think we ever quite.
Yep.
Because my Squire is the son of an Esquire, he gets -2 to skills and -1 to knightly skills. So I believe they start with a skill of 15. So I think my Squire skill is 13 just by default.
Yep.
Like the Squire skill is 13.
Yep. Okay, that's good. So yeah, you have it there. So 13 for skills and 14 for knightly skills. So yours is under 15. You just increase your Squire skill by 1. So if you don't roll, so your Squire skill is up to 14.
Lovely. I'm assuming knightly skills don't. Actually, again, I don't know how knightly skills, whether it is -1 to 15 or -1 again to their skill modifier, and I need to look that up. So I'll ignore knightly skills for the time being.
Yep.
And just kind of like be like, I don't know, I need to sort that shit out.
Yeah, we're sort of soft figuring out. I think it's this possibly applies to the knightly skill as well. That maybe also goes up, because it is under 15 too. Not sure. Jim, what's your Squire?
Yeah, dear Pierre is a sweet saison and never been bisoued. He's 16.
What skill do you have with
Jim,
him?
please translate into English.
Sweet 16, never been kissed, right? No,
Oh, yes,
that was,
bisou.
that was
For some reason, my brain has only ever heard bisou in the context of gros bisou, as like a sign off. So I was just like, nope, it's gone. What? Yep. Amazing.
He has a skill of 13. He's the son of an Esquire, so he has -1 knightly. And the context, the idea was that it's a little bit of a weird situation. He's the son of the Esquire. That's why he's been sent from a distant land.
So that 13 will go up by 1, and increase his age by 1. Neither of yours are.
I have done that. He is now Sweet Saison.
I see. Yeah, he was not Sweet Saison. I wrote down the Squire stuff. I'm just going to double check once more. Could not have wrote these notes in a more cryptic way.
Convoluted manner.
Like trying to go back in time and figure out when we were doing things.
Future me. The role is this.
Here we go. Found it.
Drop
211. 211. Oh, very easy. Okay. Knightly skills. Starting age. Yes. Start with 15 and add any modifiers. Game master decides that it's granted a specific score. Assume a 5 except for the knightly ones, which are the start of Squire's current age -9. Very good. Okay, alright. So I think all of those have also gone up by 1. We might reconcile that later. Well, I think I said that last time too, so, you know, that, but actually this time I might do it, is the change. Alright. In that. So we have Pierce. He's our most pressing choice, because he needs to be knighted, because he is over 21. So there's a couple options, Alex. If he isn't knighted, he can continue on as an Esquire, which is, not a knight, but is a sort of competent, trained person, and they need £1 per year to live. And you would then need to get another Squire, and so that would be on you to pay if you wanted to keep him in. The other option is he goes through and is, you could try and get him to be knighted by Lord Robert, which is a pretty good chance of happening. He did go above and beyond.
I thought we did secure that at the end of last session. Am I misremembering?
Yeah, you rolled a success. It's just making sure that he has all the requirements and everything. The only other one I just had, because you squeezed all that money out of the locals, is you could possibly knight him yourself.
That's pretty cool.
He wouldn't be a household knight. He would be just a knight on his own. But I think as a knight, you are able to do that. It's just you need to provide the stuff for him. So you would need to be able to pay the costs for the weapons, armor, horse, things like that.
I think he just gets knighted by Robert. I think he proved himself in battle and doesn't need me to sweep in and save the day. Like he did his shit and he showed up. He nearly died.
Very reasonable.
Good for him.
Very reasonable. Very funny if you just have a second knight, I guess, that's out there. Okay, in that case then, Pierce is honored at probably the same feast where Duke Ulfius accepted the fealty. and it was in the presence of yourself and others that he was elevated to the station of knight. He will be another household knight along with you, and although he has not yet ridden into battle, he is to be treated as an equal. He's embraced by Robert and accepted into the fold. His sister, who is present, well, when she hears of it, will be very grateful as well. To you in particular, Dame Triamore, for your service in making sure that her brother's position is secured, as they are certainly a less than wealthy household. Yeah, Jim.
I've had a sudden idea about what to do with my boon.
Interesting.
Assuming that this potentially works. It's not to help Pierce. Screw Pierce. He's having a great time now. He's your
He'll figure it out
He's
himself.
fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe dying was the best thing that happened to him.
The Duke is a learned man with, lots of connections. Could he teach me or have someone sent to teach me to read? I would like to be able to read the Bible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's so good.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's kind of interesting that you weren't taught to read when you lived with monks, because that feels like
I think I was.
Well, you were given away as a page, so you were with monks until you were like 7. So you wouldn't have gotten to that point.
Manuscripts are all too old and delicate. You can't be a snotty brat when you're.
I think that's a terrific idea, Jim. So I'm just looking up the skill in the book, literacy. Latin. Celtic letter system. Runes of the letters of the Saxon alphabet. Yada yada yada. Pictish symbols.
The reason I got noticed in church was because it was like, men. It's the one word I can recognize.
Wow, he's good. God, he's good. I don't have a special thing for how to increasing a skill, but I think you absolutely open it. My instinct is to put it at 1, and you will, and in training, and as time goes up, that can increase. But I think that's an awesome idea. Yeah, go ahead and open up literacy, Jim. And I think, would you want to return to? Do you actually possibly winter with the monks at the Black Cross, or do you kind of want some distance from your old man?
I've got some distance, and if I can, maybe there's probably an abbey over at Orpheus's place, right? Or church
certainly there would be.
Could I winter at a brand new monastery? I'll winter at all the monasteries across the region.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome. That's also when we had the spiritual role that you just did. So that's you turning up at this new monastery and beginning to commit to your studies. And I think you're kind of called out as an example of a modern knight, one that, takes up learning and looks to the old to understand the new ways and things like that.
I do the worst part of Kingdom Come Deliverance willingly.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I was reading through some of there's a chapter on religion in the Game Master's Handbook, and it was talking about all the different styles of monks and things. It's very cool. And the black monks, which are what the abbey just nearby is, are specifically called out for being scholars, advisors, and diplomats and things. And that's the path that you would have gone down if you hadn't been re-elevated. So this is kind of you, almost taking back a little bit of control of your own destiny. You're I know my dad legitimized me so that he could hold on to his own lands or keep them in the family. But actually, this was the path that I would have gone on, and I want to have a little bit of control of that.
I'm gonna learn to read.
I think that's awesome. For the other two, definitely record that you have that boon still, and that it's yours to be spent. And
I did find something, Dave, that might be relevant, which is the favors section under wealth, treasure, and trade.
Yes.
And it talks about getting favors, and essentially
I knew there
is a rank for favors, and it's a favor. A favor of 1 is worth £1 of value in goods or £1 in land. So if this would exchange for 4, then that would imply it's a favor 4, which is also for each 1, you can also request or get 10 glory. So we could exchange it for just 40 glory straight out the bat.
Thank you. I knew there was a section. I remember reading it, but I control F boon, not favor, and did not find
I was looking,
it. Okay. Yes.
But also but this is lovely. There's a little tiny section under there that just found favor etiquette. Collecting favors is done with a certain amount of delicacy. And and simply asking for a cash payout is considered beyond gauche.
Not doing it.
Well, here you go, Jim.
My trick was to at the feast go like, do you guys have a menu for the food? And then, I don't know what I'm having, and just lean close to the Duke each time.
So, well, the example given here, Jim, is a lord arranges for a scholar to instruct his son for a year, after which the son obtains a check to the skill. The lord does not pay the tutor, so after the year, he owes the tutor F1. You have an F4. What we could just say that you will, for the next 4 years, automatically check your literacy skill. So you can.
Great.
So we'll give you the 1 point, so you've started that process, and then just so. If you can record somewhere, you are 1 of 4. So the next 3 times you will also get it. You will just continue to get that skill developed.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well, yeah, because like even if you were to say, we'll check it this time, you cannot roll less than more than 0, less than 0. So like more than
you would have had to have get.
You will always fail it. You understand what I'm saying? So you'll definitely get the first one. Although theoretically, because you could crit on a 1 and then not.
That's
so yeah,
funny.
that would make sense. That like if you open a skill, it opens at 1 because no matter what, you will always succeed that.
Yeah,
check.
The only thing I might say, and I'm happy not to do this, but in the context of the winter phase, as sort of like so my character goes and studies at a monastery instead of getting a tutor, and it's like a full thing. Are you happy for me to potentially just speed run the process? I'll like cancel it and end it. Like I'll just roll them all potentially. I'm also happy to just keep it.
Oh yeah, that's fine actually. Yeah. If you just sunk it in, I think that's right. And then you actually get it to a skill that you can maybe use. So you got it at 1. So that's your first one. So roll your second one. Yeah, we'll do it with the advanced rolls. Maybe they,
Sweet. Coming up. So I've got.
You need to roll a 2 or higher.
Yep. I've just lost literacy, which is very apt. Okay.
Interesting that they say
goes to 2.
Nice.
And increase.
Goes to 3. Yes. One more.
Hell
goes
yeah.
To 4. Okay, yeah. You have 4 literacy. That's awesome.
Amen. Deus.
Oh wait, you're doing the all in 1 year.
Yeah, I think you just say
I stayed at a momonastery for a while.
For a new skill as well, that just gets out of the
makes sense.
Okay.
I guess what you're really doing is like you are using that favor to get like intense focused training and have someone kind of like look after your. There's probably an agreement that is made between Orpheus and Robert to be like, yeah, I know you're going to be losing a knight for a couple of like months, so I'm going to make sure that there's like Robert is taken care of so that I can like do that. So yeah, that makes sense.
Awesome.
Also interesting that if you save, there's a thing here about like if a knight saves another knight's 8 Libram charger from certain death, he's now owed a favor equal to 1/10 the value of the horse. So if you like do something to save someone's priceless artifact, it's 1/10 of the rounded up.
Yeah.
Which is just cool. It's like, so if you like single-handedly save a castle or like a land, you are owed a favor based on 1/10 the price of that land.
And I think that's reasonable. If you save a note outlining a debt, you're liable to now pay the person.
Let it burn. And I mean, like, and I would expect that. Like, doing this for Lord Robert wouldn't count because that is just your duty. And even now, that kind of also flows up to Duke Olphus a little bit. They would be generous in granting you one. This is for you, like, going to the side and helping out another knight or someone else.
The other fun one is a knight saves their lord from losing 1 honor point. So, like, if it's to do with honor, then you're owed a favor. But if it's just, like, stuff, then...
Who cares about stuff?
I was actually going to say, Dave, because we have this like precedent of skill stuff, I'd like to propose a use of my boon to assist me with this chivalry stuff.
Yeah.
Which is essentially that I would like to accept the boon, but not on behalf of myself, but on behalf of the people of the land around like where my family's estate is that were hit by Saxons and like sort of the surrounding area.
The poor village that was raided by Satirma.
It's just to essentially be like, I do not wish this for myself, but I would like it to go to like the people. I'd like to ensure that the people of like that my family is responsible for looking after are looked after because of this, like, you know, kind of raids that have been happening around the area. I'm assuming the, like, Saxons kind of got in and around, like...
Oh, yeah.
Did they get... I don't know.
They raided.
Yeah.
They were all over the place.
But can you... Either for my family or, like, just in general, wherever it makes more sense to go. But specifically, it's like, I don't want it for me. I want it for the people.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you want to just do this as 4 years of guaranteed skill checks for chivalry?
That's pretty good. Chivalry seems hard to check.
It is. That said, you also may earn it during it, or we could do. You could probably just turn it into like we could probably do like an immediate just like check for increase like twice or something. Jim's was opening up a full new one. Actually, no, we'll do it the same. It's just that you just have a less likely chance to succeed.
Yeah.
Oh, I might be setting a precedent here that I may not want to.
I'm happy to roll mine back if we want to put
No. You're just really opening up one that, like, if it's under, like, 5 or something. I think this is okay, and we'll just figure it out if it isn't.
We'll try it, and if I manage to somehow raise it, like, too many times, we just roll it back. That's not a big deal. So I'm just gonna, like, check.
It's fine.
Yeah.
My literacy is now on par with my flirting.
Ooh, write me a note, James.
You
Imagine trying to use those together and they're both still so low that your flirt note is just like a wonky smiley face.
I can do bad emojis. That's all I've got.
The other thing, Dave, that I can see doing is saying, is just holding onto it for the time being. And
until chivalry becomes a thing.
More like if I don't end up taking chivalry, to be like, hey, I'd like to call in that boon to like get that, but
I think just apply it. I think it's
okay.
I think because like you are right. It's a long way to go to get to 15. And I don't know. Let's get some big numbers. Let's rock and roll.
Well, the other thing is like I can't actually use chivalry. Even if it's at 15, I cannot use it until I become a chivalrous knight, which also requires me to raise 20 points in all of those attributes. So, like, we're a whiles away.
Yeah. I think
to become chivalrous is a thing. But when I get there, I get a lot of cool shit. Permanent armor because gods like me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, you fully just get, like, shield of being a good person. It's very funny.
Just like real life.
First roll. Is a failure, so I will increase it by 1 before rolling again.
Yep.
Second roll.
Ooh, match
is a failure.
Up to 10.
So I will increase it by 1 before rolling again. Third roll is a success, so that's okay. And fourth roll is a success. Yeah, so like
That's 2.
Kind of. I feel like that, like at 10. You kind of should be failing half the time. I'm kind of, I think mechanically, Dave, I think that boons for like rolling kind of is probably going to come out in the wash. Because you still have to succeed.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that worked really well. So yeah, if anyone, I think that seems fine for me. Also, it's a pretty practical thing that people can use. And let's get some big numbers. I think it's cool, good, and fun.
The whole point is that we are Arthurian knights. Those people were not human.
Yeah. Alex, if you want to apply yours to one, we can do that now, or if you want to sit on it.
The one I was thinking is I just wanted to ask after Astronor, how much time is she looking at for, because I know that there was a whole thing about getting kicked out of her homestead, basically. I would like, if there is a way I can use my favor to, my boon to get her set up.
So yeah, your favor
That's
could
a great
just
idea.
do that. You could square that. It could be done.
Get her marriaged.
There's a point about like arranging a marriage for a knight to a wife with dowry as F10, but this is not a knight.
And
No.
And actually, it specifically calls out request for marriage in the scenario, in which case they say that it can be done. Now this is implying it's one of the character knights looking after one of the NPCs that's presented, but this is sort of adjacent. This is finding someone. I think certainly she can be married into a member of Duke Ulfius's court. This would fulfill your oath. She's also, a very, very fine prospect. Like, Kenrick was not a, like they weren't a poor family. It was just that all the men died quite suddenly.
They just all
and it was like, we have a separate problem. So yeah, I think also, what were the terms of your oath, Alex? What did we?
It
what
was
did you
a
write
one
down?
honor oath. It was a one honor oath to protect her.
So the main thing was that you had a chance to lose honor here. But I think you've also gone a little bit above and beyond. Do you want to, can you check and roll against honor now as well,
sure
just as
can.
applying for this?
Yeah, and it gave me a +1 geniality, which is just for while I was in. Yeah,
I think that was just for that.
If I was, yeah,
I think that was actually just for
rolling
that
to
feast.
solve
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
If I was rolling to solve it, then I got geniality. But yes, honor. Come here, honor. My passion is a lot. It's quite high for this, so we'll see how we go.
If it goes. Increase it by 1. Okay.
Hell
Nicely
yeah.
done. Yeah. Yeah, so you're able to see her married away. She's incredible. And I think, honestly, she's somewhat, like, not surprised, but, like, you really have gone above and beyond.
She'd be surprised. She'd be surprised. I mean, I cooked that feast real bad. Like,
For sure,
real
for
bad.
sure, for sure. And you killed her brother.
I hecked that up. I hecked that up monstrously.
But
So
I think
she probably is shocked. Honestly, I'm also a bit shocked.
I think you've like proven it to you've very much proven yourself to her and to others, and she's very eager to like offer you any time you need. You know, there'll always be a space for you at their table, yeah, she'll be moved across to Duke Ulfius's court. I think also take like 10 glory as well, Dentumo, because this is a thing that you very publicly said that you were going to do, and that gets around a little bit. This is a like something that you've been working towards for a little bit, so I think that applies. All right.
Essentially, you're just saying that the favor that was used, you really only used up 3 of the 4 that you had, and you would change the last one for a bit of extra glory.
For an honor point and a bit of glory. That's right. Okay, we need to see if you get it. You need a new squire, first of all. So, because old mate's gone. Let's have you, I think let's just roll up another one. So if you can give me roll a d20, and we'll determine their background. And then we roll their age. Okay, 1 to 5. Son of an esquire, you've got another crap one. Good news.
Oh, well.
It continues with being, you're pretty consistent, if nothing else.
P.S. is like, I have a cousin.
No, maybe that's my thing now. Maybe they just send me their
rubbish
their
squires.
Middling. Yeah, and they're like, well,
let's see how old, because if it's a small child, maybe you do just like collect one.
Roll a d20 for the age. Now, last time you then immediately rolled a 20.
I did, yes.
So
Let's see if I can.
they just immediately lose. Okay, all right. So 8, it goes, just set them to 14. So you're a son of an esquire, so it's -2 to the squire skill and -1 to knightly skills, and they are 14 years old. So you have a young squire.
At some point,
have a bit of a think
out
about
what that means mechanically. I'm
So-
gonna do some rating.
Also, what it does, so I'll explain. So they have a 5 in all skills, except for their knightly skills, so like horsemanship, brawling, charge, sword, things like that, which start at their current age -9. So, and then they increase by 1 each year. So you could just write, like generic skills are 5, knightly skills are whatever that number is, and then increase by 1 each year. And this is just the and then you have this modifier which has been applied out of the gate. So your squire skill is 15 minus 2. Yours is 13, and it will go up by 1 next year. And this character's random skills are 5. Their horsemanship, brawling, things like that, 15 minus 9, math 6, minus
No, you
1,
said
5.
age. Age -9, so it's 5 minus 1 is what? Because I just did the math. Because my squire is 15, all of his knightly skills would be 5.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot
And
that Alex is
Sorry.
actually 14,
By the
not
way.
15. So Alex, yours are start at 5 minus 1. Yours
minus
are
1.
4. So yeah,
And
not a very good
because-
sword guy.
Because my squire has aged a year, his knightly skills were 4. They are now 5.
That's right.
And
That's
what did the squire skills start at? Sorry.
15.
No. 14 minus 9. So it's set at 5 minus 1 because of your modifier. So yours are all starting
my
at
modifier.
4.
So it's 4 and 4.
If you just set them as that, and then you can just forget the
hold on.
modifier, you don't need to worry about it
Yeah.
anymore. You have set the base one; they will go up from there.
So
Yeah.
regular skills. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm gonna read this off camera. No one needs to watch me try and do math in my head. I already tried to fix a table in my free time. I would, and yeah.
Bit of fun, something to look at.
Yeah.
So Alex, have a think about if you don't have a think about where this Squire comes from. Some of the Squire, they could be tied to where where Estronaut's gone. Could be through that connection, or it could be one of the many peasants that you've just harassed and found connection through there. So yeah, there's a couple options. Okay.
The Squire skill will start at. Hang on, how did it 13?
I
before?
saved you
Yes.
from the Saxons. You
Because
owe
he started
1/10
quite
of
high,
your
actually. He was
citizenry.
further along.
Yeah.
All right, we now need to check for horses. We're making horse survival rolls.
I
Oh
was
no,
literally
Aaron.
just like, do our horses get better?
No,
but
they
you
get-
said survival.
Your
That's
horses
bad.
only get worse.
No.
So everyone.
Leave my horse alone. He's a good nougat.
Yeah, but is he a good nougat for long? That's the question.
He might be getting too gooey.
We know
So
those best.
we only need to roll for the horses we give a shit about, and that is your chargers. You don't have any other special horses. So everyone just needs to make a d20 roll.
Come on, great golden noble horse. 10.
You're okay.
Yes.
12.
You're all okay. It's only if
Hell
you
yeah.
roll. So for context, it's if you roll a your horse is weakened through just events like if it was shot or similar. You get a modifier to this. Poor Stand of a living has a modifier to this. So on and so on and so on. On a 3 to 20 on this roll, the horse is okay. It's only on a
Three.
basically 1 or less. It's all over. Red or over. On a 2. You roll a horsemanship check to see how it's going. But otherwise, yeah, you're good, and it just keeps on going. So
Well, I tell you this for free. If something goes wrong with my horse, I'm gonna be like, Tremos, I'll owe you a favor.
help save my
Please look
horse.
after my
I
horse.
just picture you literally carrying the
You've got a horse girl, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm fully happy to be like, hey, you're the best with horses. I will happily give you like money or glory or a favor or whatever it is, like whatever the appropriate. Because now we know how favors work. We can give them to each other.
It's just toss it out.
I'm
yeah.
really excited.
Yeah.
I love the idea of being like, hey, I'm gonna give you a favor, and then being like, cool. Now, do you owe me a favor? Do I owe you a favor? Who paid for the meal last? Who was the who did the rounds last time? I don't. Yeah, that one.
I want to get up. I'll get you a favor to go to the fridge.
Yeah.
Get me a drink.
Amazing. I love that.
All right, we go on to training and practice. So you can apply one of the following. You can change a personality trait, so add 1, -1. You can change a passion, up 1 or -1, up to you. You can change a characteristic, so add 1 to strength, dex, con, or appearance, or if you do size, it is the growing larger.
Is this a result of is this the glory one or is this just
Nope,
a
this is
standard?
the thing. You can also. Oh,
This
sorry.
isn't.
I paused there when I shouldn't have. There was actually more. You can also train a skill up to 15 by spending 6 points just wherever you wish, or you can train a skill up to 20 by just increasing it by 1. Jim, I guess this is a point where you can also that's where literacy can go up because now you've got that opened. You can continue to.
So
yeah.
you can spend 6 points. I can suddenly bring up my
I
literacy.
guess so.
to-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
because that's what I had that floating 6 points, and I popped some extra. So here's the thing.
I'm gonna write the list in the chat.
I could bring my brawling up to 16, and that would be fun.
Pretty
but
cool.
that doesn't help my chivalry. What does, however, is if I raise my valorous to 16 and give myself another famous trait.
Yeah.
More traits.
I mean, it is also having famous traits give you glory. So during they give you passive glory. So yeah, I think. Oh, yeah, I think. Actually, Dave, can you raise past 50? I know there was a limit on raising things using regular. There's a point where you have to start using glory to raise things.
Yeah. So skills can't go beyond 20 this way.
Right.
And passions and not go above. Yeah, they can't go above the total. Whatever.
There's 40 for like the combo, but I don't know what the. I
Yeah,
thought
so you
there
can't
was
get
like
up to passions. You can't get above 20. Personality. I'll assume you can't get above 20 at this point. This is just you just need to move them around regularly.
And then there's some skill stuff that's got to do with like your stats.
No,
there's some
that was just for character creation. You're good from here. You can do whatever you want. So.
Oh, there is a limit to characteristics based on what type of like you can't raise your characteristics above a certain level without using glory. If like I can't raise my constitution above, I think it's 21 because we got that +3 because you can't raise your stats above 18 or something like that using standard methods. I don't know. I read it. There's a limit somewhere to something that's like at a certain point you have to be magic.
That's reasonable. I mean, I would assume 20. I don't see anything here that says you can't increase it, except that you stop spending them after 35. So,
I'll see if I can find the bit and then just share it later. But it's not important. I don't think it actually matters right now.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's.
You are welcome to sit on these if you want, and we can.
Very quickly, David, do I get my glory has gone above? I'm at 2,000 total glory now. Do I get an additional one or something?
That is the next. That is the next thing. We do the prestige award.
Okay.
So we need to do the tally glory. So I guess we'll you know the numbers for this. Yep. In moving on. So tally glory. We now apply the glory. So it's everything that you gained from this adventure, which has been tallied, plus the sums that I gave you earlier, and also plus your passive glory. Which
I am going to increase my valorous so that I have an extra passive glory proc.
Good
yeah,
idea.
it does happen now. I think that would happen now. So yeah, so add all that up together. And then we get to so then based off that, you get to prestige award. So it's for every full 1,000 points you get. So it has to be the total. So I think, Jim, you were saying you've just pressed it into this next bracket. You have one of these. So you can raise any statistic by 1 point. No restrictions apply. So that can be skills, characteristics, whatever. You can lower the value of a passion by 1 point. And then you can do some stuff like guarantee that your child is a male and an heir and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, none of you have, so not worth it. So basically, it's a gimme point that you can just sit up. No, you can only spend it during the winter phase, so you can't sit on this, but you don't need to spend it right away. Just record that you
So
have
you can
it.
spend it at the other, okay.
So you could wait until your sword's at 20 and use it to get to 21 more easily, something like that.
You can only spend it during a wintering phase. It just doesn't need to be this wintering phase. Makes sense. Okay, well, I don't think my passive glory is going to change whether or not I hit another 1,000.
I doubt it. But you got a lot of passive glory. So just add that all up and get your total, and then otherwise you're fine. Okay. Then there's some family stuff, but again, none of us have betrotheds.
Mm-hmm.
So we are all good. Okay.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Mine's gone over the 1,000.
Nice. Also, in that case, you also have one. So just record that you have it, or record that you spend it.
Were you under 2,000?
Up to you guys how you want to handle it.
Last wintering session?
I think so. Oh no, maybe I wasn't. Hang on. Let me have a look. I'll have a look.
Yeah. And for the next one, just as you go through so now then clear out your session glory because that'll be gained through the new adventure, and you can continue things on.
Is the session glory meant to be like everything for the
adventure
module?
Yes, yeah. Until the next wintering phase, you just add it all in there. Then you'd say, I'm looking at Jim's character sheet. His says 105. You know, he then goes into his other section and writes for the year 509, 105 glory. You can write the specifics. Then you clear it out, add it to your sum total, and reset it to 0. And then you will just add it, keep up your tally in there as you go.
So it all goes into your current glory eventually.
Yeah.
Because I have
at the end of each winter.
Yeah.
I have when we started, I was 2248, and then with Kindwolf and the Sir Robert and the wintering phase, I'm now 2413. So it went up just not about 150.
Yeah. And what's the passive glory? Sorry.
So that would have been that's determined. We should have written it on your sheet.
So if you have fair appeal, which is you're pretty, you get 10. If we all get 10. It's not a state glory, but it's 10.
Character creation.
So estate glory, I've got 10 in there because we get 10 for being household knights of Sir Robert every year.
Yep.
And then for every trait and passion that you have that is 16 or above, until it hits exalted, but none of us are there, that you get 15 passive glory per trait. So I am on 60 passive glory for having 4 traits of 16.
That's quite good.
So I'm just quickly looking at yours, Alex. So
Yeah.
you don't have fair appeal.
I super do not.
You do get the estate glory, though
Yeah.
the house. I have put it as estate.
Yeah,
because
I
we
think
don't
I was
have
away for that
estates.
session.
And then if you have any traits or passions
Yes, I do,
above 16,
2, 3.
I believe that it's also. I don't know if it's not skills. It's just traits and passions.
Traits and
Traits and
passions, yeah.
passions,
So
yeah.
yours
Which I do,
is
so.
you get another. Yeah, you have
3.
1, 2. What's your?
Oh no, I think I've just got the 2 actually.
2. Yeah, I think
I've got 2.
your valorous and your homage lord both
Yeah.
give you a bonus. So those add up. They give you another 30 points. So yours is. Oops, went to the wrong section.
Yeah.
You get another 30. So you get 40 passive glory
Yeah.
each year. So just make sure you add that in as well.
Yeah, if you put, it's on the if you go to the holding
Yeah,
section.
no, I've got it, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just update that total glory
40.
Okay.
90.
for things.
Plus my 10. An extra 40.
I've gone straight in with all this glory. I've gone from the release date of the 3.2 rated film The Deadly Wake, 1997, to the year in which the film is set, 2103.
Someone in chat asked Dave whether we are midwinter feasting. Is that a mechanic that comes into play?
We're in winter, I think. Was the
Right.
question. Yes, this is
So-
the winter phase. Yeah. All right. Is
Ah,
everyone-
110. Thank you, chat. Hinhanksa? I'm bad at people's usernames, but thank you, Hinhanksa, for the info. 110 step 7 training and practice improve an attribute trait or passion, which I
Yeah,
think might
that's
be
what I'm
where
doing.
those limits are listed. Which is
What do I want to increase?
yeah, have a quick look at that, and then we'll.
I mean, if you have any traits or passions that are close to being 16 and raise them, you do get an extra 15 passive glory.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to go traits or passions.
That's fair.
Yep. You also
I
can
have
do
to.
you also
I wanna
can
be
do
chivalrous.
skills, Alex, if you just want to keep on getting better at sport.
Actually, no, I kind of. Actually.
And if it's under 15, it's a 6-point jump.
Yep. And
Although
I think you can
split-
divide that
you
between
can.
any skills. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because I did that. I put 3 in one and 3 in a different skill,
Well,
or
yeah,
2 in one,
and-
or 1 in one.
Actually, yeah, I think I do need to look at my my battle, because we do make a lot of those rolls and I do fail a lot of those rolls.
Yep. All right.
Or I could just go get another famous passion. I could really just continue min-maxing the shit out of this.
It's kind of be, you know who you are, you know, be who you are.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe I go honor. I've been doing pretty good honor shit lately.
Honor's cool. What would that get you up
Because
to?
I just got bumped to... Yeah. Actually, yeah. I can bump that to a famous one and take some more passive glory.
What's your
let's do
current
that.
honor? Yeah, if it got you to 16. Yeah, nice.
Sure does. I'm going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that's another bit of passive glory.
Another 15. So add it in.
Yeah. So it's another 15 for the...
Yep. So your traits and passions will go from 30 to 45.
Great. 45.
Dave, no trait may increase above 19 through training and practice.
Yeah.
Yes. It was
And the highest
characteristic. It was
value-
characteristics we were looking at.
Yeah, so change of passion, the highest value you can raise a passion to by training and practice is 20. And characteristics, just no characteristic may... Oh, sorry. I think there is a limit somewhere
Yeah,
about characteristics,
that's
but
one
I
I
do
couldn't
appreciate
find.
no characteristics may be increased after the age of 35.
Shut up.
That's when it starts going all downhill.
I am living this life.
Yeah, where are we? Somewhere in here.
And maybe in the
So now
creator.
I'm
you're
also
in
famously
light.
honorable, which does actually track story-wise with fulfilling my
For sure.
oath so
Yeah, hell
quickly
yeah.
as well. Within like a year, I'm like, I'm going to protect you forever. And then within a year, I'm like,
It's
Yeah.
done. As you were.
so I think that makes sense for me to be famously honorable.
Very good.
Maybe the peasants don't care that I squeeze them for no apparent reason.
You did it so nobly.
It's not necessarily for no apparent reason. You did need that money. Although you haven't spent
yeah, but I'm not using it.
mainly
Like,
gone in the coffers.
Yeah. Exactly. But
All right. Let's continue on.
Forgive me, I'm gonna keep scrolling through the PDF
I
until I find the thing about characteristics.
I was also having a quick look. I remember it was in the developing editions. There was the comment about maximums for characteristics. Here we go.
Yeah.
Do not raise greater than the cultural maximum for a character of that culture. See value table 3.3.
Yeah, so that's why like there is a cultural maximum that we cannot go above
Here we go.
by like normal methods.
Got it. So it's 18 for everything, but con, which is 21.
Yeah.
That was right.
So I'll
although
assume that
I
is the
think there
same.
is a C table. Yeah, I think there is something about being able to raise them higher with like magical means or something. But I don't know where that is either.
The Prestige Award would do that, because that specifically calls out no penalties pertain. It may increase above 20, so that would do it. So you can get your strength to 18 and then use that to go to 19 and into the heroic numbers.
Essentially, the higher your glory, the more your like because we're technically not these characters.
Yeah,
we
we're their
are
bloodline.
the versions of these characters that are being told in the stories about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's a great distinction.
So like, yeah, at a certain point, the glory of this character becomes so large that they are attributed strength beyond mortal kin. But that doesn't actually mean that like that real ass person had that. It just means that the version of them that we are playing, which is in the Arthurian legend, was given that. Which is why fairies exist and stuff like that.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we're not real people. We are characters in a book.
I'm a real person.
Yeah, but you're the game master, so like you're also a real person and every fake person ever. Just in case that gives you a complex.
Contain multitudes. So we're going to move forward a little bit. So that was the year 509. This is the year in which the Saxons met with Lord Robert, laid siege to him, and then the siege was broken by your heroic journey to Duke Ulfius, the arrangement of an alliance, and then a charge down south to send them packing. Over the winter, you cemented your skills, called in some favors, and harassed the local peasants. Or locked yourself away in a monastery to read books.
It was great. I had a lovely time.
So good. We had the best time. The coming year, the adventure starts early, not long after the winter season, and the sort of feasts that are held throughout this period. In 510, you three, along with your many of your other knights, are summoned by Lord Robert and make the long journey to Londinium. It is January 9th, and the skies are still cold and grey. There's frost all across the land. You march in a pretty significant cohort under Lord Robert. Dame Aspara is with you, as is Sir Leo and many others. Jaradan, some of those that you trained under, will be in your presence. Your own squires are in attendance and have brought with them large pavilion tents, several horses, and additional lancers, for there is a great tourney to be held, the first of its kind. Your Lord Robert... Yeah.
Sorry, is this the tourney that we played in the solo adventure?
There may be a small horse nerd running around.
I always thought that small horse nerd was just Tiramore, I will be honest.
It did kind of continue in that direction. She's not from Summerland. She's just a small nerd.
Oh, I was like, as soon as you said Londinium, I was like, wait, are we in that year? Oh, I'm so excited.
This is
we finally got there.
This is that very year. This was the solo adventure that we played through, and I think is available elsewhere. For anyone that wasn't able to see it. Yeah, so you have been brought here, and there is this huge feeling of excitement as you ride and meet up in the long train to travel to Londinium. It's being said that this Saxon army is growing and is steadily becoming somewhat more organized. They're beginning to sort of like push forward, try at the edges, and without the old alliances, without the High King Uther and the 15 years of chaos that have fallen after him, the Cymric people will fall and will ultimately need to become Saxon subjects. So this tournament will find a new High King. This great melee, which is being organized, will contain a number of sort of important peoples from all around the area. And whoever emerges victorious will be crowned the High King, who will lead everyone else, organize them, rally them, and be able to rise to meet this Saxon scourge. Your own Lord Robert will be fighting within this, and already there's been this great talk amongst you and your others about how you'll fight with him and try to elevate him as high as you can. This is all being done with sort of dulled weapons, but you've been training these last few days, probably all the winter, kind of getting ready for it. The expectation is not that Lord Robert himself will be crowned. Even Duke Ulfius is not quite of significance, but he is kind of the, I guess, candidate that's being pushed is the most appropriate way to think of it. You're kind of getting him out there, you're seeing if you can drum up support for it, because that will put you on a high track. He also is a fairly successful warrior and leader in his own right. But there'll be many, many more here as well that are also trying to claim this glory. As you arrive at Londinium, your pavilions are going to be set up outside of it, next to a great field between it and a nearby town. You can already see other tents being erected, banners have been raised up, and there's these splashes of colors as you see all these different amazing heraldries throughout the area. There are hundreds of knights already arrived, and more will come in the following days. The whole field from here to the city itself has been divided into sort of roads in an attempt to keep some sort of order, but already there's a sort of exciting chaos that surrounds the whole space. Lord Robert, after everything is set up, will summon the three of you and others into his chambers and explain that the melee will take place on the morrow. Ensure that you are well rested tonight and prepared to fight. Check your horses, check your weapons, but apart from that, we are prepared. We are ready. We will fight as a convoy. We will meet them on the field. You should take this time to go out and explore. Take a look at Londinium. Get a sense for this strange new city, and see what the others that we will meet in battle are about. You have my leave. I will see you in the morning. And you're kind of given the day to just go and wander around. You can head into the city itself. That's where most of the sort of action is. Although it's a quite unappealing looking place. You guys hail from forts and towns and things. This is to put it bluntly, muck-filled shithole, it's so crowded. It stinks to high heaven. These people are barbaric, honestly, the way they just sort of move their way around. There's no culture. They don't do things properly, and it's very confronting, but it is also exciting, and you are knights of adventure. And you may want to go through, you may want to sort of check in on one of the cathedrals, or do some shopping, find something cool, things like that. You also know that today the Squires battle is being held, and this is where our other a solo adventure character is currently battling with people twice her size as she tries to wield a quarterstaff.
Getting booped on the head. Well, I think we wielded a staff or something, or we got booped on the head by a staff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so kind of what do you think the three of you get up to today, as this sort of excitement continues to build?
Well, are our squires in the Squire tournament?
Oh yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, definitely. If your squires are the ones that kick the hell out of other people. Yeah. Do you wanna?
I'd be keen to see. I'd be keen to see how my son of an esquire, maybe not so great Nigel, is performing. You know, I'm building a reputation as the knight who you send your perhaps a little lackluster squires to.
You train them up. You get them out
No.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and now that I'm famously honorable, I've got there's a reason for people to send their kids to me. It may not be because I'm the best fighter, or I don't have the most, stories told about me. I'm not, but I'm just determined, and I'm just, I'm gonna do the right thing over and over again until it works. And for some people, they look at the kids and they're like, you know what he needs? That.
And it's a bit of a scuffle. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. So yours, you don't actually give the option of like, do you want to be there? So you're like, oh, I've signed you up. You're in the tournament. Heads up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's not even it's almost probably not a guilt trip exactly, but it's explained as this opportunity is in front of you. You are here in Londinium, which you won't be again. The only way to make this work for you is if you just get up and do the thing that's in front of you every time the opportunity presents itself. You have to.
Which has always been
You're not going to be signing you up. You're going to be
strategy.
signing yourself up, but you have to.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's so good. Yeah, so your squire will be entered into the fray. You can go there and we'll see how they feel. How about Saboris and Samobe's squires? Do you think they're interested? Do you want to enter them?
I have this image of Pierre as like an extremely sort of odd fellow, so I don't think he is, because he would be like, but Monsieur Mobe, I cannot. It is also the tournament of professional rat racing that he's involved in on the side or something like that.
With his
Or
gambling
some
addiction.
Weirdo shit, yeah.
Yeah, so he's up to some other nonsense side quest and therefore cannot attend.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Also,
yeah. He's doing his own thing.
I privately mentioned to him because he can't understand me. By now he can, but I pretend he can't for my own purposes. I say that the reason Tiramore is so keen to have like the squires going is because she wants to be there with first aid ready to sort of make good on the last squire tournament we were in.
Yeah.
That's very funny. I mean, I think I would encourage my squire to be part of the tourney because it is good training opportunity, and like the Trent, my squire, named purely thus because it hasn't come up outside of character creation, but Boris does have a small animal as a pet. Just really stealing from Jim completely. In the same vein of having a horse called Nougat because Boris thinks that Nougat is French for nugget. His pet is a ferret that he calls Stoty. And the reason that my squire is called Trent is so that Boris can hand Stoty to Trent and have Stoat upon Trent.
That's
Just good, clean fun.
Yeah, just good, clean, punny fun. So Trent, but is a son of an esquire, and the esquire was a squire that was a squire to my parents. So very specifically, I have taken him on to help him improve his station. It's going to be up to him, but I think like if I'm the one in control
It's
of
your character.
the squire,
Yeah, honestly, it's your
then
number 2.
I would say like he's gonna probably have the same type of, maybe not boundless idiocy and enthusiasm that Boris has, but definitely lean towards like, oh, I'm gonna take this opportunity to improve my skills, to like make a name for myself, and Boris will be on board and encourage that and be like, yes, yes, you are my squire, and I do, you're here to look after me, but go have fun. You have my blessing. You have my backing. If anything goes wrong, you come and get me, and I will whack someone across the head. Yeah, essentially. And I think I kind of let him I let him go off on his own to do this, like obviously making sure that he's probably with Triamor's Squire, like go together and you know, don't get yourself injured, but they don't need Boris like mother henning over them.
Yep. They can it's kind of, if anything, this is an opportunity for them to have a bit of an adventure and get a chance. The bohort, the term for this sort of like mock melee, is a place for Squires to kind of get a bit rowdy and push each other around and whack one another and have some skills, meet some people. You know, it's an adventure and possibly, you know, earn a little bit of renown for just themselves. So your two Squires head off towards that. Pierre heads off to places unknown.
The little boat race, I think. There's a little like fine painted boats across the Thames.
Yeah.
He's with lots of like strange. There's a really cool Dutch 12-year-old who's like the sort of star of the whole thing, and everyone's hoping he's going to win. It's an adventure.
He's gambling his life savings on it, on the speed of these boats.
He's put a weapon on the side of the boat, and no one's suspecting it.
Little menace. What about the three of you? What would you like to get up to? It just general, like, just very valid is just like, we just go and have a look around. You know, we just check this like wild, crazy place out. Do you have an idea, I suppose, something you might like to go see?
I'll say quickly that one of the fun things about Pendragon is that like there's so much canonical story to this, and a lot of the time we've been flying in the dark, and you discover and you go, oh, it's that. And this is one of the few times I've been on the other side of that, where it's like I actually know how this bit goes, and it's really easy to place myself around it. For that reason, let's not maybe go to the cathedral, which is where Mo probably would go, but let's go to do something else.
You mean avoid the bits.
Avoid don't disturb them, I guess. Maybe we do go to the cathedral. I don't know.
I think you should start punting Squires that you see, just to see if you can change history. Let's see what this butterfly does.
I have Boris has like a couple of Librum to his name.
Yep.
So I think like going again from the solo scenario, I have a vague recollection of there being like a market or like things. So I think like Boris is going to go and just look around, go to like where the people are, get a vibe for the location. Again, is very much like for the little people, and is just, this is a new environment. So probably market, because that's where the most people are gonna be. If we've kind of already been doing a lot of training, I don't think there's a real
you guys are good.
Sense of like,
you're trained up. Yeah. You just need to be dressed up.
Exactly.
Market, or like the sort of whatever version of market opens at like a tourney ground, you know, like that kind of thing.
Fantastic. Okay. So you're going to head towards the market. For Tremor and Mobe, you want to travel with? You guys traveling as a pack, or?
Yeah, well, let's go to the market. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Now that my oath has been fulfilled and my Squire is doing Squire shit, I just kind of
free.
I think I'm free. I don't have anything I'm really focused on at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm famously honorable. I'm just gonna chill out.
You're kind of good. Okay. So you guys head into the city itself. Your Squires have raced off before you. A little bit smaller and a bit more dexterous, and also because they don't have the weight of station, they don't need to like be aware of their, so you kind of see them being kids a bit. They kind of just race off and dart through the crowd, excitedly pushing one another and like trying to get to the bohort first, as Pierre runs with them for a while and then like finds himself distracted by the boat race or something, and then heads down towards that to see if he can have some fun down there. Three of you are aware of your station. Carry yourselves with sort of like the respect of office and for that of your Lord Robert, who, if the melee goes well tomorrow, who knows what position he will emerge in. You feel as though you are on the cusp of history, like the very precipice, where in these next few days things will change. If you are united under a strong banner, this will be the banner that you hoist to ride out against the Saxons, expelling them from your land and ensuring that they never return again. And it's in this sort of shadow of grand fortune that you find yourself sort of fulfilling idle wants. Going to a market, or, you know, spending some small time in a tavern, or just meeting with these strange guildsmen and burghers that fill this chaotic city. Londinium is jammed to the brim with people, and everywhere you go, there's thousands, millions of swarming people, and the closest thing you can compare it to is being in a melee, in a battle, like feeling the press around you, and you want nothing more than to rise up on your charger and sort of rear it back to get above the crowd, but you're in it, and you have to sort of like keep your might to sort of like keep these little people out of the way so that you don't hurt them as much as anything else. You walk through these huge city gates, twice as wide as those at any fort you've attended, so that massive caravans can move through, pulling trade goods of value that is nigh incomprehensible to you. There are markets everywhere. These multicolored tents try to call for your attention, and the people that are hawking their wares yell out in a dozen different languages, and even when they speak your own tongue, it's unfamiliar in their mouths because they speak it so quickly and they change direction so fast, because as soon as they find someone that's got any sort of interest, they lock in on them and try to sort of pest them into buying their wares. You see a lot of fluff, stuff for sale that has little clear value. It's just things, and it's finery unearned, if you know what I mean. If one can just purchase such nice clothes and from a market, surely that can't hold the same value as everything else. But as you sort of walk past it and you run a finger along it, it's fine silks, nicer than many you've seen before. And as you look at the prices, not quite so bad. Maybe this would be something interesting. There's also weapons. There's blacksmiths here, hammering out sword after sword after sword to plunge into buckets of water, steam erupting forth from them and thrown onto a great pile with hundreds of others, enough to outfit a great and mighty army. In the distance, you can see a tall white tower that is almost always visible over the city. This was originally built by a Roman emperor long ago, and in the other direction you can see a great black castle. They're almost mirrors of one another, inside which you know that there is a senate that meets regularly and sort of oversees the hundreds of factions that somehow sort of dressed together become a city. I'd like each of you to roll a d20, because there's a little random table here of events, and we can see what maybe happens as you're going about. But beyond that, it's totally with you to kind of describe what you think may happen.
I want to add something to our itinerary. Quickly. The St. Pancras Old Church, still standing today, one of the oldest buildings in modern London, is... there's some archaeological debate, but it is currently accepted in our time period of in-game to be being rebuilt into the church that it will become, possibly from an old pagan site.
Cool.
But that's a whole thing.
Which church was this?
So there's a fancy new church being built, which is fun.
Hell yeah. So I got 2 from Tiramore. If the other 2 want to give me theirs, I'll just jam people together to make it make sense.
18.
7.
And a 7. All right. Let's see what we're
Full
looking
spread there.
at. Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit of a mixed bag. So you enter with the original intent of like staying together, doing some shopping and things, but the chaos of the city kind of drives you away. And at some point or another, you're like, well, we'll split up and we'll just check out things out. We'll meet back here. We'll go about our days. So on, so on, so on, so on. Whereas this happens, so Boris, you remain in the markets, sort of checking out the areas and looking at all the different accoutrement, the like great shields and some of the finer things, small delicate implements for eating your dinner. And at one point, there's this large group of pigeons that are all posted along like the banners, like stringing low as they sort of hang low in the sky. And as you go under them, you feel a sort of splatter as something hits the back of your shoulder. And as you twist around to sort of look in this like green glass window of pub, you can see that distorted by it, this pigeon has befouled your clothing. And unfortunately, you have, which one number are you? 7. You have a -1 D3 to your appearance until you take the opportunity to get yourself cleaned back up.
So there you go. Bathhouse still standing?
The Londinium's, a hole. It's filled with nasty animals.
It sucks.
Speaking of Londinium being a hole, Dame Triamore, you're so lost. You're so lost. You don't know where you are.
Lost.
You're
I'm just glad I
honestly
didn't get that one.
certain that you should be back at the market. You said everyone said they were going to meet here, and it's not. This is a different market. Why are there so many goddamn markets? You have no idea where you are. You don't know how to get out of this city. So yeah, you're lost for a while. Congrats.
I'm absolutely just standing in the middle of this market like,
Or like you think it's the right one for quite a while as you're looking
oh
around.
yeah, for way too long. Way too long.
So Mobe, you have an unexpectedly good meal, sufficient to gain +5 on your next trade or skill roll. You find a pub. It's lovely.
Civilization, it's great.
So we come
I
back
can
from
read.
this, and Boris and I are just like, can we go? Can we leave London and never come back? This place sucks.
No, I think I know that it gives like Boris negative appearance. I think he finds being shat on by a bird very
kind of
funny.
amusing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's like, oh yeah, people are gonna think that like people are gonna. He is not surprised when people are like, oh, bird, but like he thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
You got a meal as bad as I got one good, and I sympathize with the pigeon as we're sort of wandering down. Yeah.
Sort of kind of hoping that Tribo will just re-emerge at some point.
So am I. I'm also hoping that I will reemerge at some point.
Well, look, let's not get
Worries.
Triamore, can I get you to make a worldly or spiritual roll at your preference? Worldly being the more practice,
Well,
like
they're
finding
identical, so
Worldly would be trying to find your way out.
yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
As a success. You eventually are able to orient yourself. This is an understood place. You can find your way around, and you just need to sort of like get the lay of the land. You find where the sun was going down. Okay, we came in from the east. Head that direction. I'll get out eventually. It's just going to take a while, and it does take some time. But
So
you
I'm standing in the
able...
market square just staring directly at the sun.
Just really hoping that's going to help. It will take you most of the day, unfortunately, but you are able to ultimately emerge. Is there anything that people wanted to look into purchasing? You, as knights, your lord looks out for you with your sort of like basic and functional things. This will be going above and beyond. Things like artisanal items, like gems or jewelry are here in abundance. Luxury goods, combs, goblets, things like that. Pretty much anything you can imagine. Weapon-wise, you're pretty much covered. It would be if you wanted to do something like commission a great sword or something that will be ready in the future for you to collect. Or if you want to go and look at the sort of like the horses that they have available, elements like that. I have a whole bunch of numbers for like how much things cost, but also if you just have like a general vibe or something that you want to look into, we can handle it however you'd like.
Is there a bookshop with the full understanding of the cost and privilege of medieval tomes?
Yeah,
like, is there a
I don't know. I don't think there would be. I think we're a little bit early for full bookshops. I think that'd be a bit more like, because like the monasteries like cultivate libraries and are very careful about things.
In 500,
What there is, Jim, is there is the
Yeah.
cathedral. There's St. Paul's Cathedral, which you could attend and speak with and see what they just have available. Did you have a...
I was just gonna say, I don't like the concept of the book is like printing press, kind of like
point.
era.
Yeah.
So
Still
like, and I'm pretty sure 500 is still
we're like 1,000 years old.
vellum, like
we've got
scrolls,
hand-bound things and scrolls.
like
Maybe hand-bound,
maybe
sewn together.
maybe there's but like I'm also thinking back to a very silly comedy sketch of like the introduction of the book to a medieval person who's like, but I don't understand how this works. I don't like it tech support, but for books.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I think that was like medieval, and where I think pre-medieval, like like medievals, you have to get into like we're in 4-digit years and we're in 3-digit years. So I'm pretty sure we're still vellum scrolls.
Yeah.
That makes, I believe that is right. I think they do have pages, because I'm looking at it has, you can hire a monk to copy and illuminate one page. So I think they have books, but they're not mass.
Yeah,
each one is a custom-made piece.
And they'd all be huge.
And copied painstakingly. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like the King, was it St. James's Bible?
The King James
like
Bible,
there's definitely like a very, very old Bible that is vellum, and it's quite small, but it is like, but I'm pretty sure that's still 4-digit dates.
Yeah. Just because I love hearing about the sort of like the world at this point. Can I buy something from very far away? A trinket, like a holy symbol from a distant land, even if it's not necessarily Christian. Out of curiosity, you understand. I study things.
Yeah. But, just see if you can
just be that.
A weapon like a dagger from the eastern reaches of the Byzantine Empire,
distant
or
dirk. Yeah, hell yeah, that sounds sick. Do you want to give me a I almost feel like this might be worldly too, because it's the worldly nature of it. Or you could go spiritual, Jim, if you want to go for like someone that you can, like a distant religion.
I think I'll roll worldly first, because this is literally worldly. It's like, let me learn about other places. So I'm going to roll against that, and then I'll proceed. Oh, I succeed the worldly.
Okay, awesome.
Hey.
Having a little look at, so the starter set comes with a bunch of character sheets, like the different people, and they come from different parts of the world. Like so this guy's from Syria, and he's Greek. And I remember one of them had a cool weapon, and I want to find it. Saxon, Cumric.
Do you want me to have a look at that and maybe suggest something? With the roll, we'll say I can find something appropriate, and
yes,
I'll have a bit of browse at the...
That is very reasonable. I think, this would be, of all the places in the world, this would be the most accessible. This is where trade is done with those overseas. And also, so many knights, mercenaries and otherwise, have flooded into Londinium for this tournament that this would be an opportune time to just meet other people and trade with them. You know what I mean? And find a chance to offer. See what that success, Jim, if you want to basically suggest an interaction that you may have had.
I'm going to have a little look through the rulebook and spy myself, and I'll come back.
Okay. In the meantime, I received my heraldry.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got my carnets. Now, a carnix normally has like a boar's head. There's a couple. I mean, with the carnix, there's only ever been 5 total remnants of carnixes found.
Oh my god.
Of those 5, they're either a boar head or a snake's head.
Okay.
Or I think there's very few of them. But I would like to posit that I would like a new head for my carnix fashioned into a rusta.
Sick. Hell yes, I love that. You can absolutely find that. There's incredible metal workers here, and a sort of rooster crowing from the top of this great war horn is such an incredible image. I'm trying to find a similarly priced item so that I have a bit of context.
Yeah, it'd be if there's anything for instruments, like brass instruments. It is technically the part of an instrument. It's not the whole thing. I just need the top replaced.
I know how much. I've got how much it would cost to hire someone to compose a love poem or a mocking poem.
Anything that is like brass workmanship would do it. So it's not really a weapon, but it is
gold or silver brooch or something is £1 or livre. I don't have. Oh, sorry. Aeronite had the items you get specially. I'll see if one of those has.
I want to say very quickly, I suddenly know how you found your way out of the crowd as this head pokes up.
scattering all the random people. I think like
horrifying noise.
I think, Alex, if you want to spend like 1 or probably like 1 or 2 livre to put this as a significant item. Like, this is making it a, like, very, very personal thing to you and part of your character.
I'm happy to spend the 2.
Okay, yeah, do spend 2, and we will say that this is being worked on, but can probably be ready, depending on how this scenario goes, maybe during it. Otherwise, you can have it during the next winter phase.
Right.
We'll put a bonus on it or something. It'll be really fun.
Right.
Cool.
I have 2 things in mind, depending on which is more doable. The first is, what is the level of, like, urchins and people on the street who are maybe begging or hungry or, like, that type of thing? Is there much of that around, or has that kind of been pushed away because of the tournament?
No, there's certainly a pretty significant presence of it. A lot of people have... The Saxon raiding and stuff has terrified people, and a lot of folks have clustered in towards cities and overpopulated. So yeah, you'll find probably towards like the edges and a little bit like off the beaten path, there's larger gatherings, but all throughout you will certainly find folks just, you know, relying on the charity of others.
That's one. That was one avenue. The other one was acquiring something appropriate for the Lord and his lady as a, like, courtesy, as a, like, you know, I saw this and thought of you. Both kind of fit into the whole chivalry thing. I think leaning into feeding the poor is probably more. And the other aspect of this is that having a generous nature is considered chivalrous. I don't currently have a bent generous or selfish, but I am looking to
increase that.
To increase. So I think, I don't know if I can do both, but if there's one or the other, I think if there is a sizable amount of people who have been displaced due to the war, Boris will kind of maybe be looking for stuff for Lord Robert and, is it Lady, not Gale, that was the hand.
He actually doesn't have he is not married. He has an older sister who has helped a lot, but actually he is betrothed. Probably is something he'd be looking to do to secure an alliance at some point in the not too distant future.
In that case, maybe it would have been like, I'm looking for something for his sister because, like, she is, you know, someone of his I wouldn't necessarily give Lord Robert a gift directly. That feels a little like weird. But to get something nice for his sister feels like a polite, courteous thing. So I think that's where I start looking and then notice how many hungry people, how many sort of, like, Boris is, like, taken in by the sights and the sounds and then starts to notice that not everything is loud. There are pockets of quietness and I don't know if you want an awareness roll for that. I hope not, because my awareness is bad.
That's all good. You can give over. You probably, generally this would be where you'd just be using, like, Denari, like the lesser currencies, rather than trying to look at.
I would like to see what I can do with a full Libra.
Okay.
Because I have 2. I think it is reasonable at this point that Boris is like, no, this is a lot of people that are hungry. And if I can at least get like a warm meal for a few, even if it's just stew.
Oh yeah.
Somehow get like, or bread, like something staple that I can give to a group of people, or like to be like, here is something. It is not much, but you are hungry, and you should not have to be so. You know, while I cannot warm your physical form, I can at least warm your heart and minds.
I think quite the opposite, actually. A single livre is a quite significant portion. So that is, it's 240 denarii, because that seems like a convenient way to divide things. And they then go down into smaller librum is the term. A single librum could hold a feast for 30 nobles. A feast for 100 commoners. There we go. We've got a word. You could basically set it aside to, like, pay down a tavern for, like, feed these people for a day. You know, take no other coin. Render your services to those that need it, and turn away anyone that would harm the people within. You know, like you can certainly do a very good thing with that.
And I think because Boris feels like, because he's not actually that generous, like he's not really done this before, I think he feels a little like self-conscious.
Mhm. He's
He's also more modest than he is not. So I think he sort of gets the tavern to do this, and like is sort of like present to make sure it happens, but is not present to make it known that he's the one who did it.
Yeah, or that, you know, you're not doing this in your law's name either. Can you actually give me a modest roll, please?
Or watch me fuck this up.
And then we're going into proud.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good.
I think
Good.
Very good.
check modest, and also check. I think genuinely just check chivalry. Like I think that gets it straight there. And lose a livre.
Generous?
I think you're kind of angling for. Sorry, I know you want to develop your chivalry. I think this.
I do, but I actually also need to develop like certain.
Generous. Generous is probably actually
One sec.
Generous is perfect for it.
I was actually. May I check generous instead of modest, and then take
modest is
chivalry
good.
on
I
it?
think modest and generous I think does make the most sense. The modest is applying because you're not going to gain glory from this or anything. This is not you're not saying who did this. You're just doing a good thing. Take those two.
I'm happy to give to I'm happy to, because chivalry would also imply that people knew about this, and I don't actually necessarily like that. Yeah,
plays.
I'm happy for this to go to traits, if that's all right, and leave chivalry for the moment, because I improving chivalry really does feel like I'm doing a thing and people see it.
Yep, works for me.
So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trimor, you commission this great rooster. Great and recognizable. You find what seems to be a certainly very accomplished blacksmith. You can see that they have created strange instruments and designs. They've worked shields where they can actually get like the heraldry sort of superimposed onto it, like a great boar's head almost emerging from the targe itself. And for a fee of I think 2 librum, they will take your contract, and they can't promise it'll be done before you leave, but they know where you, like it'll take like, it's like a couple months work or something.
Yeah, they know where I live.
They will
send
get
it's
it
fine.
to you.
Yeah.
And they set to it with gusto. So Mo, did you find an item that you thought
Yes. I'm going to try and not go too deep into the dive that I've thrown myself into.
pulling himself back?
Mechanically, I'm going to take a weapon called a Francisca. It's a throwing axe, basically.
Sick.
And the idea is that it, like the CX, cannot be purchased unless you're in Saxon lands. The Francisca is more of a Frankish weapon. But now, if you'll let me push it further, so it's functionally just the same as any of the other throwing weapons, except it specifically has a higher damage ceiling, but is not great if you've got a shield, because you can just sort of smack it.
Yeah, 100. That's
yeah.
awesome. I love
It's not super
immediately
expensive
called
either,
out
but I'm
called
happy
out
to
in
pay
chat
for
as a Saxon.
Well, so my pitch was, if you're happy to go with it, I am enchanted by the many tales of one of the apostles who traveled so far east as what we would call today India. And I would propose that I replace the throwing weapon with a chakram, the actual like throwing disc. So I have one of those, and I'll use the same stats.
Oh, sick. So mechanically you want to do a...
Yeah, but just flavor-wise, it's from further afield, and I know
so
that there's sort
sick.
of like...
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
I thought chakrams were like quite big. They're like full.
Well, yeah, and then sort of like the equivalent would be a proper throwing axe. So I've only got one of them. It's not like a belt of them. I've got a one-hitter that I
think
can...
that's so sick. I would love... Let's do a roll, because I think rather than purchase, I think this is someone you need to like meet and like trade an item of your own with would be really cool. You can just do money if this fails. We'll just do money.
I love that.
Do you have something you'd suggest?
How about I roll religion? Because it's about the story of the St. John.
Yeah, dude. Hell
went
yes.
To distant lands, and it's talking about we talk at length about the details of that myth. It's something that I read about and was fascinated by when I was at the monastery. And if I impress this mysterious person enough, they impart this upon me.
100%. Go for it.
Success.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I think that's an awesome thing.
Wait,
So
how
yeah.
is your religion 10? I thought you were like really religious.
I'm
It's
really in support of
You're
the
really
church,
trying.
Yeah.
but I'm not really religious.
And he really hates his
Got
dad.
it.
Spiritual is my lowest of the traits, actually.
And you just-
the need for religious night stuff.
Oh yeah, sorry. I forgot that religion wasn't a trait. I got them confused. I'm so sorry.
No. Well, my spiritual isn't very high either. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think Mark, check your religion, and I think you are able to relate this story to someone. And can you describe a chakram? I googled it, but if you can kind of like,
this is just something that I've looked at, and basically I was just looking for a medieval weapon, kind of from the sort of beyond the reaches of the sort of Byzantine Empire slightly, and the chakram. It's a traditionally kind of Indian associated weapon, or the Indian subcontinent in general. It's a disc. It's got like a grip thing at the bottom that you can hold, and you throw it much like, from what I understand, like you would sort of a knife or a throwing axe, but the whole blade is kind of curved around, so it sticks in. It's basically like a sharpened circle. It was sometimes called a war quartal, apparently,
Cool.
in English writings. It's technically that you can use it hand to hand. You can just hold it and whack people with it, but it was primarily a throwing thing. And there is a story about, in the sort of extended canon of what the apostles got up to in the extended lore.
so funny hearing canon said that way when that is the meaning. If it's just amusing.
You're right. I didn't even think of that. But one of them traveled and maybe got as far as India. So there's like ideas that.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, fantastic. Also just going back a second, actually, Alex, I think, do you want to make can you give us an instrument roll, I think, for like your knowledge of this and sourcing people and everything?
See how maybe this can be how long it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah.
Success.
I think mark your instrument as well, as Jim did his religion, and I think this is you finding someone to kind of geek out about war horns, really.
Yeah, maybe I find someone who has actually got like a couple of instruments in their shop, and I'm like, whoo!
Yeah, and you go through and like see all the different shapes, and they talk to you at great length about, the like actually getting it to emulate a rooster's crow rather than just like appear as one, like actually get it so that it can
if we
really
can get
sound
it to like the way that it starts like a rooster's crow, and then it goes into that real
like,
classic Carnex.
Yeah, or basically you
wail.
can just like you can hit the other
Haunted
one
rooster.
if you want to. Yeah, ghost rooster.
Ghost rooster, haunted
awesome.
rooster. That's what I'm after.
As someone who's fully
The
walked
vibe.
into like a music shop and done that, and I don't mean like as like a music CD, I mean like someone who made instruments.
Yeah.
It is very fun to go into a shop like that and be like, oh my god, this is dope. You make instruments? Let me look. Let
Hell
me
yeah.
see.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
so
cool."
fascinating.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beyond that, the day ultimately finally begins to draw to a close. Tremor is found as she emerges from the gates with Sir Boris and Samob in pursuit. Your squires come not too long after and have stories of their own of this great war where they sort of, whacked at one another with quarterstaffs, and to find out how well they did, we'll get you to each roll their knightly skill value. So,
Alright.
May I roll my
Which is
non-natural
5,
skill
just
value
reminding
to see
people,
how
5.
Pierre did at the boat race?
oh yeah, so Jim, in that case, just be a 5 to see if he has, to
Perfect.
see how his newly opened gambling skill works.
Yes.
Yeah, so 5 is it? Yeah.
The skill is 5, and it'll be a -1 modifier for the
That's
Esquire.
a 1d5. I'm so stupid.
Oh,
so
I just
never
put
mind.
it as like because
And once you've said it, you can just stop. You'll just increase it each time, and then not worry about the number anymore. Pierre lost money.
We don't have
Dang.
to. Yeah, if I just make the skill
Tell off, yeah.
-1, that I don't need to put a modifier in every time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
if
the
you just
same
set it
thing.
at, if you set it at the value that you roll against, you can just ignore the modifier from there on out.
Yeah, I am using the modifier because it's funny.
Yep. Okay, they both did poorly. They had a great time. No one fumbled. They did get whacked
did
a
real
lot,
bad.
and they were knocked out. They were also young, like
okay.
compared to everyone else
Yeah.
in the boat.
Yeah,
They
these
are.
are like brand new.
You've got like 20-year-old, like soon to be knights battling. What
Yeah.
you guys were training last year is, and a lot of these ones are knights that, squires that will be elevated to knights in the war with Saxons, whereas yours are
Yeah.
just beginning their journey.
They are babies. They are brand new, freshly minted squires. Like, the fact that they're even showing up and having a good time is kind of good for them, you know?
That's it. And kind of, despite their
No shit.
bruises, they are enthusiastic about the whole affair, and they sort of talk with one another eagerly as they make their way back towards the
Can I
tents.
have, because I knew that the squires were coming back, can I have acquired just a couple of like bowls of soup and some bread for the lads, so that when they come back they have just something warm for because like getting knocked about kind of sucks, and there's probably a bit of time before feasting, and like they have to look after us a lot and like make sure that we have things. So to just be like, take a moment, sit down, you got battered and bruised, I'm glad you had a fun time, but here's something warm. We, just take a moment to relax, essentially.
Tomorrow we're going to pretend to have a war. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Having, reconvened with your squires, all of them failing in their various pursuits for the day, you head back towards the camps.
I act as though they succeeded. If they tell me about their battles, I am like, you did amazing. I'm
Such a good
proud
job.
of you.
As far as I'm concerned, they tried. That's good enough. That's succeeding.
Like,
amongst
and
it.
if one of them is like, oh, and then I got knocked upside the head, be like, when I was your age, I was getting knocked on my ass by Sir Robert constantly. He is a fine swordsman. Just kind of really, really bigging him up.
Hell yeah. You make your way back towards the pavilions of the tents. You have some duties to attend to this evening. You need to check on your horses, check that your weapons and everything are ready, and then sort of beg your lord's attendants, sort of check in for the night and everything, and then turn in. The battle will be early tomorrow morning. Expectation is that you will rise, make your preparations, and then as the sun rises, the teams will come to the field, mount their horses, and they will fight. As you sort of turn in for the night and lay on your cots and hear the chatter of distant peoples that have all gathered here in Londinium, rest eventually takes you. And when your eyes open again, and the new dawn, and the roosters crow, there is a battle to be fought. Not you. And that is where we will park the session for today.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Hell
We have a
Super
battle
game.
for tomorrow. Fantastic.
Is the battle on horseback, or is it like
It is-
on like
it is-
on feet?
No,
or
it
like,
is on
dependent?
horseback. It is gigantic. It is a full mock battle. So the expectation is that the two sides, which have over, as you sort of rise in the morning, so you'll get the measure of it, over 100 knights on either side, are arranged into conroys. There are objectives to seize. There is an enemy commander. The two sides are led by lesser kings, who are going to be organizing the whole affair. And this is only sort of like, there'll be multiple turns of sort of like laying siege, circling around one another and trying to seize objectives. So yeah, it'll begin mounted, but if your horses get scared off or fall or anything, then maybe the rest continues out on foot. Or if your lances break and you don't want to fight with swords anymore. So yeah, it'll be a whole thing. Rebatted weapons, so hopefully no one dies. But hey, stranger things have happened.
Hey, look.
yeah.
Even with a blunted, like, lances are made of wood, because they're designed to shatter, but that doesn't mean you don't end up with a large shard of wood inside your torso.
And there's still a giant horse and a knight leveling it at you and running really fast. So yeah, certainly dangerous. All right, fantastic. We'll leave the session there. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will be back next week to continue the adventure of the sword tournament. Yeah, hope we'll see you then. Ciao.